Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderman Kennedy.
Here.
Alderman Moore. Alderman French.
Present.
Alderman Vaquero.
Present.
Alderman Carter. Alderwoman Murphy.
Here.
Alderman Ogilvy. Chairman Conway.
Present.
We have 6 present and we have a quorum.
Alderman, you may proceed.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
So we are here again to discuss Board Bill 63, which establishes the policy that we would have fiscal notes for all legislation that had any kind of a cost on it. So based on 2 things. First, the chairman's concerns of our last meeting, working with our staff here, they have prepared what is effectively a worksheet. A worksheet that would be filled out by whoever prepares the bill. As the clerk points out, about 75% of our bills come from other departments or lawyers who have drafted them, and so they should fill out that worksheet, which will help them determine whether or not a fiscal note is required. And we also have before you a committee substitute. Can we discuss the committee substitute?
I move that we adopt committee substitute for
Second.
Board Bill 63. It's been moved and second that we adopt the committee substitute for Board Bill 63. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderman Kennedy.
Aye.
Alderman French.
Aye.
Alderman Vaquero.
Aye.
Alderwoman Murphy.
Aye.
Alderman Ogilvy.
Aye.
Chairman Conway.
Aye.
We have 6 ayes and 0 noes.
Now, the changes in the committee substitute really come from the Board of Alderman staff. The clerk looked at it, and based upon our available resources and the procedure that he thinks would best work for him and his staff, made some changes, most notably on page 2 and 3. Changing language that says the Office of Legislative Research to the Clerk of the Board of Aldermen.
What line is that?
This is line 15.
Oh, I see. I'm sorry. I see.
Drawn out.
Clerk of the Board of Aldermen, in coordination with the City Budget Division, shall be responsible for, and instead of the preparation of, it says ensuring that a fiscal note has been prepared. And that's in line with what we discussed last time, which is that this really should not be work that falls upon aldermen or our staff, but most of the work should be on the people that already have that information and are preparing the bills for us. So the clerk will make sure that the note has been prepared. You go down further to lines 20 and 21, scratching out line 20 and then starting on line 21. The clerk of the Board of Aldermen shall forward each fiscal note to the bill sponsor. The next change is on page 3. Scratching out much of lines 3, 4, 5, and 6 and adding in its place. The fiscal note shall be revised. The revised fiscal note must be prepared prior to the bill's consideration for adoption by the full Board of Aldermen. And besides that, it's pretty much the same. It just kind of streamlines it, given our available resources and staffing. Any questions?
Let's see, Alderman, I like this first page on this sheet, so thank you. Because it forces the alderman to think through it and answer the question. So that works, and if you would add my name to this bill, I would appreciate that.
Mine too.
And mine.
And mine.
All right.
Alderman,
Should be an easy vote.
did you want your name on this bill?
I don't know. We gotta look
Okay,
at
that's
Scott.
okay. So
Alderman Carter.
Yeah, add my name to the bill,
Okay.
but no questions. I mean, no, yeah.
We're not up to questions.
What are we on?
We're going to ask.
I would just add my name to the bill.
Just put in your name.
Yeah,
He was just saying hello.
No questions.
Are there any questions?
cops
of
for
the
being
sponsor?
late. You never know.
Alderman Ogilvy.
So I'm not just blowing smoke here. My one real concern on the bill is that we're giving away some legislative power to city departments that we are not in control of. Because the law is now going to say that we cannot consider a bill unless it has the fiscal impact statement. And we can't develop that statement without the cooperation of other departments. And we're not in control of those departments. The mayor's office, directly or indirectly, is control of all those departments. And I worry that at some point in the future, there's going to be bills that those departments slow walk through this process to kill because it runs out of time, you know, in the session, or just makes it so difficult to get this information that it slows down the legislative process unnecessarily. Or that if you happen to be an alderman who is unpopular or at odds with the mayor's office, your bills
I
are
have
going to
no idea what that's like.
Nobody does. Your bills are going to have, I don't mean your bills, I mean that person's bills are going to have a challenge to get this stuff done. So I'm okay, I mean, I think there's value here, and I'm okay with it as long as we're not relying on those other departments to the extent that we really weaken the Board of Aldermen's legal authority. So in my opinion, we could do this by removing F, and I think we would minimize potential negative impacts. The comparison we use most often is Jefferson City, where there is a large office. Alderman Carter, I believe, said 70-some people work in that office for the legislature. So there are a lot more people there to make sure that these things get done in a timely manner than we will ever have here. So that's my concern.
Anybody else? Alderman Carter.
Well, I think that the overall deal here is transparency. Transparency is key with this bill, and I think that it should be one of our top priorities just in terms of moving forward in the future here at City Hall. And so, you know, like I said, when I first came here, it was a shock to me that we didn't know how much each bill cost us. And I'm still in shock that we are operating not knowing really, you know, what the cost of some of these bills does to us just in terms of what we spend, and we still operate. And so, you know, I understand your concern, but if somebody want to slow a bill down here, this is not the only way to. So I would urge us to move forward and pass this today.
Alderman Carl.
I mean, I do agree with what you're saying, and in the sense that they could just not give us the information, which would, I guess my question would be, if they would, let's just say, for instance, the project would be, they're not particularly fond of the idea in the mayor's office in particular. I know they usually put all their people in here to lobby everybody to be against something, but would it make it possible for them to not get the information so the bill could not move on?
I think that is very unlikely. I think that the mayor's office has a lot of legislation that they try to get passed through the Board of Aldermen. And if we found that they weren't cooperating with providing information on certain bills, I think we could slow down their bills too. But ultimately, though, I think at the end of the day, we've got to get the information from somewhere, and it is responsible for us and for us to know before we vote, and also for us to present that information to the public before we spend their money, how much a bill is going to cost. So we got two choices. We can either move money over to our own budget and give ourselves the personnel to establish a real Office of Legislative and Fiscal Oversight, or we can make requests to the departments who are most likely, these are the departments who are preparing those bills anyway, and just say next time you prepare a bill, make sure you include these items. I think it's the easiest way and most cost-effective way is just to request the information from those agencies and departments that already have it. And if we have any problems, we can come back and tweak it. But I don't foresee us having
Okay,
too many
I'm
problems.
just curious, that's all.
I mean, at the end of the day, you can also do a sunshine request, and they have to provide it within 30 days.
Now that the clerk is back,
Excuse me.
there is a methodology. We're only putting an ordinance in. I can repeal this ordinance as it applies to my frickin' bill.
Oh,
Okay? So, this is just an ordinance, every bill is an ordinance, okay?
right.
And if I had something where I thought they were gonna stuff me, I'd write it so that it overturns this as it applies to that bill. And then as your colleagues, you can say, well, was that really legitimate? But, yeah, it's just an ordinance, okay? It's not a charter amendment. We can repeal any ordinance with any piece of legislation that comes through. I mean, the only thing is if it's two subject matters, that might be the only thing, but as it applies to this bill, I'd say it's still the same subject matter. But then again, you have to be accountable to your colleagues, okay? And, it could be the death knell, but you got a good explanation, the mayor's screwing me around. And I know it going into it, so I'm gonna put it in here. Now, if they give me my cost, I'll strike that and we'll keep moving forward. I mean, there's different ways you can get around it, ladies and gentlemen. Any other questions? I'm always thinking, Alderman.
Would you like to entertain a motion?
Yes.
I'll make the motion. that we
Second.
pass this.
I'm sorry. There is
I'll make a motion we pass
Oh.
Board Bill Committee Substitute
Very good.
63 out with the new.
Second by Alderman Ogilvy.
No, I didn't second that.
Oh,
I'll
By me,
second.
actually.
Murphy.
I'll second.
Okay. I'll call the roll.
please.
Very good.
Well, the motion is that we pass out committee substitute for Board Bill number 63 with a two-pass recommendation. Please call the roll.
Alderman Kennedy.
Aye.
Alderman Moore. Alderman French.
Aye.
Alderman Vaquero.
Aye.
Alderman Carter.
Aye.
Alderman Murphy. Alderman Ogilvy.
Aye.
Chairman Conway.
Aye.
We have 7 ayes and 0 noes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That brings this meeting to a conclusion. Meeting adjourned.
There you go.